Hey everybody, welcome back to Vintage PoorBoy Thrive. Yes, I have decided to change the name because we're no longer in debt and we should thrive instead of just survive. I just want to fast forward the time just a little bit because I want to be able to start in on harvest, but I don't want to be in the dark. Look at that, it's a beautiful October day. Let's go ahead and get this harvest of soybeans started. Not a awful lot going on beyond the harvest, so let's just go ahead and get moving and grooving. I am hoping for at least 10,000 liters. I'm very hopeful for at least that. We'll see. We'll know more once we get down the field one time and we're able to determine, what our first swipe is going to be. It's not looking great, so we'll just have to, because I'm only going to get about 10 swipes, maybe 15, but I mean we're not to 1,000 liters yet, so holding breath here, but let's not get too worried just yet. We just passed 1,000 liters, so all right. And I am going to just make life a little bit easier so I can turn around. I will go ahead and just hit the headland here, probably just once. I should be able to turn around after one swipe. Shouldn't be a problem after that. So we have no debt right now. We do have monthly payments and whatnot. No big whoop. I don't love monthly payments, but on like maintenance and whatnot, but it's not exorbitant, so we should be able to do just fine on a month-to-month basis. We probably have enough money on hand probably to last us, I'd say 6 to 10 months if we didn't need to buy any consumables such as lime or seed or fertilizer. That is, I guess I should make sure to mention that. So guys, you guys got to tell me, what is your favorite crop in Farm Simulator 22 that you have planted and harvested? What is it that you enjoy doing the most? I know some people really interested in the root crops like potatoes and sugar beets because you get so much out of it, but to me the price is so low, it's hard to really determine whether or not it's even worth doing. But I kind of enjoy wheat and oats, mostly because I think wheat gets such a great large yield. It's just a little bit more profitable than barley. Plus, you get the straw, which in this scenario we can run through the fermenting silo and make silage. And that sells for a nice amount as well. Yeah, I mean, grass is fine if you're doing silage. Corn, it is what it is. Soybeans is actually pretty good. if you're looking to make money. So is soybeans. Trying to think of a new challenge for our farm here, and I'm kind of wondering about, is there a dollar amount that we should try and get to, basically, like whether it's 2.5 or 5 million by like a certain year, because we're already 3 years in. If we were going to make it by 5 years, we would have been doing things much more differently than we currently are. But we aren't really concerned about that sort of thing. We do want to just enjoy ourselves, as well as make money. As you can see, there's a couple of strips through there where I decided I was tired of chopping it and making silage, so I just kind of went for some shelled corn, and we'll keep that. We'll feed it to the pigs. It was seriously only like 2,500 liters, so it wasn't like huge numbers or anything of that nature. And I'm not really overly concerned about growing more stuff to feed to the pigs for next year. So we may just plant like sorghum, so that, which we can actually give to the pigs, I guess. We can also give it to the chickens. The reason I'm looking at sorghum is primarily because it's going to give the protein to the pigs that they need, and that will help fatten them up so we can sell them. And yeah, we've got some decisions to make. I don't know how long I want to wait before I finally get our cattle pen switched over so that we're getting milk instead of just raising beef cows. I obviously made the mistake of putting milk cows in a beef pen, so they are getting larger, but it's slow going, very, very slow going. And we want to be able to get through that. So yeah, and I think we are on our 6th swipe of the field, and well, actually this is our 7th swipe of the field. I had forgotten we did the initial swipe as a full headland. Now, just using this few minutes here to check to see if there are any changes on one of my apps to do deliveries. So hopefully I remain paying enough attention to what I'm doing to be able to do both at the same time. So as things are right now, we're gonna probably plant sorghum right there where we just pulled the corn. We'll probably skip root crops this next year, or we'll put a root crop there, and we will put sorghum where we have got beets. So one way or the other, we will have sorghum, I think, for next year, which is great because we have not grown sorghum yet. And maybe we will skip corn and a root crop and just go with maybe like sunflowers for something different. Just I think crop rotation is really important too. More in, obviously not so much in Farm Simulator, but more in real life. It's good to not burn out certain nutrients because every plant does something different to the soil, and you don't want to burn out the soil because you wanted to have corn every single year. Eventually that corn will just be a terrible yield, and you do want to avoid that. You want to make sure that you're keeping nutrients into the ground, and that's why you see a lot of farms, they might need the corn or oats or something for their livestock, but that's not the only things that they grow. Because they do that in order to preserve some soil and not just burn it up all the time. So I try to emulate that in the game too. I don't want to have soybeans in this field every single year. I know that they would grow fine, and it would save me money because I wouldn't need to have the the nitrogen fertilizer to make the field yield better. So yeah, I get that. It's just not how I want to farm. Now, it's fine for anybody to do it however they want, but I'm trying to go for a level of realism, and that's just how we did it growing up. So it's kind of how I'm doing it now, and maybe those types of things have been, that sort of thought process has been busted. But I think to an extent that's a change that probably has been, I think that's something that's going to continue, is people will rotate crops. So I try to do it in the game as well. Now, I'm actually quite pleased that we're still looking at, we're almost to 11,000 liters, and that's actually great because I was really concerned that we weren't going to get even 10,000. So we're going to probably finish up around 14,000 liters, maybe. I'm not sure if we'll get any more than that, but I think that's where we're going to. I think that's probably where we're going to be, roughly in that neighborhood. So yeah, if you just heard that noise, I do apologize. I have my phone right next to me, and that was my Shipped shopper app that you just heard there. Somebody wants groceries. I'm not going to do that order because it's a long drive to the specific store, and I know nothing about that store. The customer, though, is someone I've shopped for many times, and they're a great customer, but it's just Sephora, not really my cup of tea. I've done it a couple of times, but it's not one that I enjoy doing, mostly because I don't know where anything is, and I don't know what stuff is. I'm not one to wear makeup, so my knowledge base on that front is very, very low. Oh, we are full. So let's go ahead and we will unload. So real quick question. I think, well, it's not so much a question, it's a statement. I think I'm going to run my mower around these fields and just pick up the grass so that we can just toss it in our fermenter for the month of January, which is when we will, that's when we're going to sell it off anyways, so we might as well pick up the extra, right? I mean, it's just going to go into silage. I don't know what the big deal would be, but I'm thinking we'll probably do that off camera. I'm going to finish this up, and you know, I think that'll make it an episode. Then we're probably going to, we're basically going to be skipping to the next month when we, I believe I can harvest our sugar beets. Well, it says this month, but I don't think ours are ready. I'll have to, I'm going to actually have to check the calendar and see it. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to check the map and see if they're ready to be harvested or not. It could be, I just might not have noticed. And if they are, then it's probably what we'll do off camera is get them pulled off the field. If it's next month, then I'm going to hopefully do it on camera. But let's go ahead and see if they are ready to harvest. They are not ready to remove foliage, so I guess that is next month. So that's good. We'll have something to do for the month of November. And now that I think about that, I did forget that I planned that a month late. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. I know last time we talked about cotton, just because we have now found a basically a cotton harvesting small scale implement pulled by a tractor, and it gives it more of a modern classic feel, I guess. It's not a vintage feel because it's probably the late 90s, early late 90s that came out, and I'm kind of leaning towards not getting the baler portion of it because I just don't feel like it's believable. So we'd probably purchase it loose and utilize it in that fashion. But yeah, I think we're actually going to get right near 15,000 liters, which if you watched my previous episode, I did mention I'd like to get 15, but I kind of figured it would only be about 10, you know, if that, just because the overall yield on soybeans is pretty low. It's great crop as far as selling value, but you have to have, like, you know, a couple 100,000 liters to really make it, you know, something that you're gonna want to plant, and you got to do it on a large scale, and we're not going to get 100,000 liters off the property we own. So this field and the one across the road are our two largest fields. This one across the road is slightly larger, but if we planted everything into soybeans, I mean, we're probably looking at like 40,000 liters, which, don't get me wrong, 40,000 liters still provides, you know, $80,000 or about $87,000, $88,000 worth of income. But if you're doing that on your entire farm, it's not worth it. Like when I think about like our straw, which we primarily just picked up from one harvest on that field before we plowed it, plus our straw. And when you start talking about that, I mean, we're at $75,000 and we didn't really do a whole lot to get there. So, you know, it's just something to remember. You know, as nice as it is to, you know, do something like soybeans, we're going to have 15,000 liters off this field, right? So the other one would give us probably about 17,000 liters. Somewhere in there, 17, 17.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. And while that's great, you know, that's the two fields, that's only, that's only like 32,000 liters, which is right around $66,000. And that's not going to be enough for a year, especially if we want to grow and expand. Now, if we put everything into it, could we double that? Probably not. I just don't think our fields are large enough to get that quantity. It would be great if they were, but I just don't see it. Not on our farm as it currently stands. But I also think, though, that next year we will have at least one additional field in which we'll have to harvest. Now, just trying to get this old cleaner in here. You know what? I'm in there far enough. Let's call it a day. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this back over and put in our silo. So yeah, we got just over 15,000. So that's like $30,000. So yeah, this field here would probably get us another 15. If we put all this together, it'd probably give us about 15 to 17,000. I think this would probably be about the same size as the field across the road. So we would be looking at roughly 49,000 liters. And then these two fields here would probably only get us probably around 6,000. So, yeah, I just think we're going to make more money. And maybe we test it, not maybe this coming year, but because I've already planted. But maybe we test it and see how much we can actually make, because that's always fun. But so yeah, next year though, I want to do. I'm gonna do this for wheat, and then that one over there is gonna be this field over behind our pigsty is gonna be sorghum, and then probably have a root crop. And then this will be soybeans, and that'll be soybean. And this field up there, I haven't decided yet. It's not going to be a root crop, I do know that, but it could be, you know, it might actually be maybe something like sunflowers. Yeah. But we have harvested our soybeans. We've gotten a good amount. Let's see what they're worth when they're at their max. Looks like 37,000 from Goldcrest, and we're never going to sell in Goldcrest Valley. I mean, I could, but you know, I just don't really need to, I guess. So yeah. Next month, we're going to probably jump on over to the month of November. But before I do that, I am going to probably cut the rest of our grass that we can cut along the edges of the fields, just to get something else in the silo fermenting and ready for January, because I'd like to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $80,000 for all of that, because that's going to be the big sum of money that's going to purchase our next field. So all right, you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me, and I do hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you guys on the next one. Have a good day.